Oh, yeah. That's right. It's hard to drive, and eat donuts at the same time.
Thank you. Andres, I will pass the mic to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Heather, and thank you to the Eugene Metro Rotary Club. I'm so pleased that we were able to get Frank to speak to your club, and really a pleasure to meet everyone. And thank you again for having us. So I'll just get right into introducing Frank for you. I believe that there are two solutions to solving the world's problems, and one of them is legislation, and the other is education. And so there is no doubt that access to quality knowledge does change the world. And people who have participated in Wiki Education's programs, who Frank is the executive director of Wiki Education, people who have participated in these programs are responsible for donating over 80 million words to Wikipedia. That is more words than exist in the Encyclopedia Britannica. Wiki Education connects Wikipedia with subject matter experts in higher education and cultural institutions. Wiki Education is responsible for adding 20% of all new editors on Wikipedia. If you've been on Wikipedia, you've likely interacted with some of the work that Wiki Education is responsible for. You have also probably asked yourself, how do the contributors to Wikipedia ensure the encyclopedia's quality? Please let me introduce Frank Schulenberg. Frank is the executive director of Wiki Education. He's a Wikipedian, and he's also a fellow Rotarian from the Rotary Club of Chico. And Frank is motivated by the desire to provide people with free access to accurate and trustworthy information. For years, his work has focused on improving content quality and broadening participation. Frank, the Zoom call is yours. You're muted, Frank.
Yeah. Thank you very much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here, and all the best from Chico. The way we imagined this is that I'm gonna talk a little bit about Wikipedia first, then I'm gonna talk about the work that Wiki Education is doing, and then hopefully we're gonna have some time for questions at the end. So if there's anything that you wanted to ask, if you've been wondering about Wikipedia, please feel free to, you can also post it in the chat in between, so not a problem. And I'm gonna try to share my screen here. And I hope, just one second. I apologize, I have a new computer and I just see I need to rejoin. Just one second, I'll be back in a
Technical difficulties. He has to rejoin. Thank you. Thanks again, everyone.
We're used to technical difficulties. It's part of the charm.
Heather, is till 6:30 okay for Frank, or
Yeah.
okay?
Yes, thank you. We appreciate that.
Hello, Madam President Price. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be here. There's Frank.
Sorry for that. Sorry for that little glitch. So let me start. As I said, I'm going to start talking about Wikipedia first, and then about Wiki Education, and I'm going to start right there about Wikipedia. And the idea behind Wikipedia is really to have a world where everyone has free access to the sum of all human knowledge. That's what Wikipedia is really about. And I have to say, as Andres said, I'm also a Wikipedian, so I'm not just doing this as my job, but I'm also volunteering for Wikipedia as an author of articles and as a photographer. I started editing Wikipedia in 2005, and that was in the early days of Wikipedia, where we didn't really know whether Wikipedia would ever take off, whether that would ever be something that would be useful for other people. But it resonated really well with me because my parents didn't have a whole lot of money, and we didn't have a printed encyclopedia at home. And the idea that I could share my knowledge and my skills with other people resonated really well with me. And so that's why I'm still volunteering for Wikipedia. Now, as I said, in 2001, Wikipedia got started, and it's now active in more than 321 languages. Most of you will use the English Wikipedia, but there are Wikipedia language versions in all those languages. And it's actually that all those language versions of Wikipedia are independent. So there's no thing like someone translates something from the English Wikipedia into some other language. That happens sometimes, but most of the articles and the content come from the people who live in France or in Germany or Japan. Today, Wikipedia has 1.7 billion monthly readers, so it's in the top 10 websites on this planet, and it's just like amazing for a volunteer like me. It's very daunting because I'm always thinking, whoa, you know, if I write an article on Wikipedia, I hope I get it right. Because there are so many people who might read that content that I'm producing. So I better do my research and get this right. And so we're going to get into the quality question in a minute. As I said, everything that is done, and some people really don't know this. I find this quite interesting. Everything on Wikipedia is done by volunteers. So there is an organization, of course, that runs the servers, the Wikimedia Foundation in San Francisco, but everything else is done by volunteers, and these are the volunteers of the English Wikipedia. And there are more in other language versions, and they upload images, they write articles, they curate content, they serve as administrators and mediators and stuff like that. And it's a really amazing group of people, and I'm really, really happy to be part of that. And I think that's the most amazing thing about Wikipedia. It's an open collaborative system. So that means that you can, without even having a user account, you can change things on Wikipedia right away, right? Like you can go in there, you can make a change, you see a mistake, and I encourage you actually to do that. If you find like a typo, or there's a comma missing or something, or you just feel like, hey, something is wrong there, then you can improve Wikipedia yourself. Now, with that open and collaborative system, how does it work, right? Like if it's open, if everybody can make changes, how can it be that the content is trustworthy? And someone said at some point, the thing about Wikipedia is it only works in practice. In theory, it cannot work. And I'm going to show you now, like just one little glimpse of like why it actually works. So when it comes to content quality, there are a couple tools, and I'm going to show you one of the tools. Basically, one thing to mention, actually, talking about volunteers, there are tools, of course, but really the reason why Wikipedia works well is that there are more people that are good than that are bad. And so what you see here is a group of volunteers from a conference, a Wikipedia conference in London a couple of years ago. And there's simply more people who want to help than who want to vandalize or destroy something on Wikipedia. And that's why it works. But now we're getting to the tools. And I'm just going to show you one teeny tiny tool that is pretty prominent when it comes to quality control. So I'm showing you here the article about the Dixie Fire. You might have heard of it. For us here in Chico, it was a big topic this summer. The fire started much earlier than usually the fire season starts. And so, of course, people want to get information about what is the Dixie Fire, what is currently going on, and so on. And you see here, I'm logged in. You see my name up there. That means I have a user account. I edit under my own name. And what is a watch list now? A watch list is a list of articles that I'm personally interested in. So whenever you create a Wikipedia account, you can add articles to a watch list. And whenever someone changes something to those articles, then you can see the change on your watch list. And I'm going to walk you through how that works. So you might see this little star up there, and right now it's white. And if I add an article to my watch list, it turns blue. Can you see that? Like here, now it's on my watch list, right? And that means for me, like as a volunteer, it's really like my day starts with I wake up in the morning, I grab my iPad, I go to Wikipedia, and I look at what is going on Wikipedia. It's like super interesting, right? Like, what are other people doing? And I still remember my first edit when I changed something in an article, and I was really afraid the next day when I came back to Wikipedia, because I thought, well, I wonder what happened overnight. And it turned out people had continued improving things, and that's kind of a very satisfying thing to see that together a group of people who want to do good for the world can improve things collaboratively. Now back to the watch list. Now you're going to see this is my watch list. These are articles that I have on my watch list for whatever reason. And you see there's the article about the Dixie Fire, and someone on August 24th, someone changed something, made a change in that article. And I can then click on that, and I can see who changed something, when they changed something, and what they changed. So on the left-hand side, you see the old version of that article, right? Like what the Dixie Fire article looked like before that edit happened. And on the right-hand side then is the new version. And so that is what I see every morning when I click on my watch list. Then I see, okay, what has happened in those areas that I find interesting personally. And you can see here, this user has added more information to the article, and it's all fine. And this is really a quality improvement. Okay. And there are more. I can see. I cannot see the chat right now. So Andres, you're monitoring the chat. Should we do questions and answers at the end, or should I?
Yeah, let's do questions and answers at the end.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Okay. So now, Wiki Education is a small nonprofit. We're based in Chico here, and we're 100% remote after the pandemic started. So I'm the only one in Chico currently. Most people are in San Francisco and other parts of the United States. And we connect higher education to Wikipedia, and our goal is really to improve the quality, to make the information on Wikipedia more representative, more accurate, and more complete. And now, why is that even something that needs to happen? If you have all those volunteers here who care deeply about Wikipedia and who improve Wikipedia every day with what they're doing. And the answer is all those people are volunteers. So they write about things that they find interesting. And because there is a certain demographic on Wikipedia, there are more, so the typical Wikipedian is male, white, relatively young, well-educated, and very computer savvy. And that means that all those white male people have certain interests that they like to write about. And this shows in the quality of Wikipedia. So we have, these are like the numbers for very, very high quality articles. And you can see there are far more articles that have that badge of quality in areas like warfare, sport and recreation, video gaming. And there are not so many good articles in areas like business, law, health, and medicine, right? And we're trying to, we at Wiki Education, we're trying to counterbalance that by bringing more women to Wikipedia, by bringing more people of marginalized groups to Wikipedia, and by partnering with cultural institutions. We've been partnering with the National Archives here in the United States. We're currently partnering with the Smithsonian and so on. And we're partnering with a number of academic associations, and we've been partnering with more than 800 universities here in the United States. And so we have students here. You see like a couple of University of Arizona geoscience students who are learning how to edit Wikipedia. And we also bring subject matter experts to Wikipedia in areas that are underdeveloped. So this is Bill Phillips, and he's a Nobel Prize laureate, and he knows a lot about physics, obviously, because that's what he got the Nobel Prize for. And he learned how to edit Wikipedia through one of our courses, and he's now contributing to physics articles on Wikipedia. So what that means is we have two programs. Students write Wikipedia articles instead of writing a term paper. And then scholars and scientists target high-profile Wikipedia articles in their field of study. And those are the two things that we're doing. We're providing the program for students for free, and for scholars and scientists that relies on sponsorships or on individual course fees. As Andres has already said, we're super proud when we reached this milestone a couple of years ago that our program participants contributed more to the English Wikipedia than the printed edition of Encyclopedia Britannica. That was a big milestone for us. And I have to tell you, like most people think that people write an online Wikipedia, online encyclopedia like Wikipedia, they hate printed books. That's actually the opposite is the case. I'm a big book lover. Ask my wife about all the books that arrive at our doorstep every week. And because whatever we add to Wikipedia, we have to have a good source. We have to add a reference. You cannot just add whatever to Wikipedia. You have to cite the source. And so we're all big book lovers at Wikipedia. And that's also something that most people might not know. Now, and I'm now coming to the end, and we're going to get to the question and answer session in a minute. We looked at, because there's also a student learning aspect here in our work, right? I said students write Wikipedia articles instead of writing a traditional term paper. For most students, that's actually quite scary, right? Like they have been told by their teachers, don't you ever use Wikipedia. And now they take a class in college, and now their instructor says, okay, we're all going to write Wikipedia articles now, and then they freak out, right? Because they think, well, I don't know enough to write a Wikipedia article, but I can tell you it's actually quite motivating for them because they want to get it right. We had some instructors who said my students went to the library for the first time. I've never seen them so motivated as in this assignment. And so we had some researchers looking into what are the student learning outcomes. Is like this Wikipedia assignment, is that on par with if they write a traditional term paper? And actually, these are the results. So this is the percentage of instructors who found Wikipedia assignments more or much more valuable when rated against a traditional assignment. So 85% said when it comes to online source reliability, I had a better effect in this Wikipedia assignment than if I had done a more traditional assignment. And when it comes to digital literacy, you know that like, students know a lot about how to use their cell phones, but when it comes to digital literacy, there was a study by Stanford University a couple of years ago. It was quite devastating to see what students really know about the things online that they interact with every day. And so this assignment, obviously from the instructor's standpoint, is better than a traditional assignment when it comes to digital literacy. Now, what motivates me every day to do this job, I really, really think that the effect that this has on students, that they learn something, they improve their writing skills. They're suddenly writing for a large audience, right? They're not doing this kind of throwaway term paper that ends up in someone's drawer. No, they write for the large audience of you, me, and the people who use Wikipedia. And here's one student's quote, and she said, she's a student from Northeastern University, and she said, I was encouraged by more than the grade. I wanted to contribute to something long-lasting and something bigger than myself. And that is really such a beautiful sentence that I really, really love it. And we hear things from students all the time like that. And I'm really, really happy about that students take something away from these kinds of assignments, and at the same time deliver value to other people that use Wikipedia, sometimes on a weekly and sometimes on a daily basis. So that's it. And I'm going to stop the screen sharing here if I can find my mouse here. Yeah, there it is. And just let me know whatever questions you have and I'll try to answer it.
Sure, I can help facilitate a little bit. There are a few questions in the chat box, and anyone else, please feel free to jump in. But Frank, would you, how much time do we have for questions?
About 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay, great. Frank, Claire asked, Claire mentioned she encourages to support Wikipedia, and she always makes a donation each year near Christmas as she appreciates their work and resource. Would you clarify the difference between Wikipedia and Wiki Education?
So I love the idea of donating to Wikipedia, of course, right? Like I'm very supportive of that. The Wikimedia Foundation is the organization that runs the servers. That's really, really important. But I'm also, just in case, I'm also gonna share the donate link that we have on our website. We're an independent organization. We're a spin-off of the Wikimedia Foundation, actually, and we just ran our Giving Tuesday campaign today. So what else?
Great. So the other question is, what happened? So Jessica Price had a question. Jessica, would you want to unmute yourself and ask?
Sure. Can you hear me?
You don't get mute. We get this live microphone here.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Excellent. My question was just what happens if folks have an irreconcilable disagreement about facts?
And I have to tell you that happens all the time. There's seriously, that's a thing. You're mentioning one of the things you can imagine if people are passionate about something, right? Like, and there are so many examples of this. I remember on the Polish Wikipedia, they were having a discussion about what is the correct color of the Polish flag. And they were going back and forth on that for months and months, and they were yelling at each other. And they were really angry. And then at some point, they sent a letter to I think to the Polish president or something to get clarification. So But what happens in those cases, every page on Wikipedia, um, every entry has a talk page. So when you go to Wikipedia and you look at something, you will see a little button at the top of the page, and that says talk page. And that's where all those discussions happen. So basically what that means is someone says, well, I think this is true. Someone says that is true. And then a conversation starts. And you can create an account, or you can create as many accounts on Wikipedia as you want. So I could have like 5 accounts. We call that sock puppets. So it's a sock puppet account, and that's because everybody can create as many accounts as they want under different names, right? There's no things like we vote on something, whether something is right, like so and so many people believe this is right and so many people believe that is right. That doesn't work because we don't know how many people how many people use different accounts. So it's always about, on Wikipedia, it's always about who has the best argument, who has the best citation, right? Like a good citation from a book is like a really good sword or weapon in a video game, right? Like that's like you want to have as many references to a statement that you're trying to put into that article as possible. And so it's a very lively discussion sometimes, and I encourage you, if you don't want to make an edit and change something on Wikipedia directly, if you find a mistake, for example, you can go to that talk page and you can say, hey, I think I found a mistake, and then someone is going to take care of that.
We have time for 2 more questions. And Cheryl, would you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Sure. I found this conversation particularly interesting because I was a language teacher and now I direct a program, but we're always looking for ways to freshen our curriculum, and our our population is international. And so what a great tool or great activity. So I'm curious to know how we would learn about the research conclusions for student learning outcomes for using Wikipedia publication stories in classes and things.
So everything that we as an organization do, and that is also one of the principles of one of the things that drives our community, is really transparency. So we have this report that I referenced. That is a report that is freely available on the internet. And if you provide me with your, or Andres with your email address, I can send you a link to that report. Other than that, I really encourage you to go to wikiedu.org and go to our blog and take a look at the articles that people write there. There are so many examples of instructors talking about their experiences. I think that might be helpful as well. Oh, there we are. Okay.
And we have time for 1 more question, if anyone has one. We only have about maybe 4 more minutes.
One question, what's the average donation?
The average donation for the Wikimedia Foundation is relatively small. It's a large number of people. I have to say, I worked for the Wikimedia Foundation between 2008. That's also how I came to the United States. I'm originally from Germany. And I left the Wikimedia Foundation in 2014. So my knowledge about those things, donations and so on, is a couple years old. But at that point, I think it was like $15. It's really the very large number of people who give to Wikipedia that makes the difference. Because there are so many people use Wikipedia on a daily basis, and there is no other income, right? Like that's really important to understand. We decided at some point that we really don't want to have any ads, right? We want Wikipedia to be ad free. It's important, like if you get information, you don't want to have an ad of a company that is maybe related to the information that you read on Wikipedia, and we decided against that. So it's really Wikipedia, as well as our organization, really depends on the goodwill of people who support our work.
Frank, I wanted to ask, wondered if, was that in reference to Wikipedia? Was that question in reference to Wikipedia or to Wiki Education?
Wikipedia.
Okay.
That's how I understood it, yeah. Cheryl, I somehow, it seems like I cannot copy your email from the chat here. I don't know whether someone can take a screenshot and share.
I got it.
Okay,
I
good.
will.
Thank you, Andres. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, anything else? Or are we done?
Thank you so much.
Thank
That
you.
was amazing.
Oh, and please, by the way, seriously, thank you. If you have more questions, seriously, there's so many things that people usually want to know about Wikipedia. My email address is frank@wikiedu.org. And if you have any questions, no matter what it is, seriously, yes, that's my email. Please feel free to contact me, and I'm always happy. You can tell, like, every Wikipedian is happy to talk about their best hobby in the world, and I'm always happy to talk about Wikipedia and to answer questions by email or otherwise. Thank you so much again.
Thank you very much.
And all the best.
We will transition into club business, but you are welcome to stay, leave as soon as you'd like, or feel free to stay for the next 20 minutes. So next we'll have Emily's bio, but just before we transition, we had a couple of more guests come in the room. So I did want to introduce Jared Sweezy, who is formerly of the Downtown Rotary Club before he moved up to Portland, and is now back in Eugene and is joining us as a guest for the first time tonight. So thank you, Jared. And then Ashley Espinosa, who in January will be the interim executive director of the Lane Workforce Partnership. So congratulations for that. And Russ Lowe, good to see you again in our virtual world. And then Adam. So Emily, if you want to come on over, and Adam is Emily's guest. He may or may not come up in Emily's biography.
Welcome, Adam. Welcome, Adam.
This is Adam, my wonderful husband, who is probably never going to talk for 10 minutes about my life. Here for this.
Yay.
Take it away, Emily. Take it away.
Right. Well.
Oh, well done.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so we've got a screen sharing going on that's taking up most of the screen. Right.
Emily, are you sharing the screen?
Oh, here we go.
We're viewing Jessica Bryce's screen, but she's at Jessica Bryce's computer.
Okay.
You're good
Can I
to
go
go.
ahead and get started?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I just wanted to thank all of you for being so welcoming the past few weeks. It's been really lovely to be a part of, or hope to be a part of, a group that is so worldly and welcoming, and it's just been a really nice, refreshing change to meet all of you. So thank you. I have a couple photos. This is mostly just so I don't forget what I've been doing with the last 33 years of my life.
Really?
Do I need to speak into this one?
I don't know. Let's just use a voice that those in this room can hear.
Okay. Can everyone hear me okay?
Depends on which way you turn.
Okay, I will project. Okay. Well, it started in a small town in Northern California where I grew up, not unlike Eugene, an hour from the coast, a couple hours from a big city in San Francisco, wine country, as you can see, beautiful, beautiful small town in Northern California.
Can we have a name?
Ukiah, California, Mendocino County.
Yeah, I know Ukiah.
But I will start with a pivotal point in my youth, which was my first solo trip and my first international trip, which was to Costa Rica. I did a summer immersion homestay with a family in Guapiles in Costa Rica. I since then have gone back to Costa Rica 4 times,
Oh, cool.
but it was very pivotal in shaping my path of where and what I would do next. After graduating high school from our small town in Northern California with, the one high school in the town, 2,000 people, I continued on my international path. So this is a photo of, some of you may know the classic clash between Rio and Boca football in Argentina, which is kind of a quintessential spectacle to see while you're in Argentina. I'm not particularly a soccer fan at all, but just kind of seeing culture in action in this beautiful display of passion and pride for local culture. So that was the first half of my gap year following high school. And I have mentioned previously that I was a recipient of a Rotary Youth Exchange Award, which allowed me to take this gap year before starting my University of Colorado at Boulder. So the second half of that gap year was a completely different type of place. I worked at a wildlife sanctuary in South Africa, which my dad had mapped on Google Maps, and it was the exact opposite end of the world from where I grew up in Northern California, as far away as I could possibly go.
Nothing personal, right?
Nothing personal. And really in the middle of nowhere. There was at one point I had my camera stolen, and my family very nicely had shipped me a new camera so I could capture moments like these in Addo Elephant Park. And it was the type of thing where the mailman had to personally deliver this camera way out in the middle of nowhere because there was no address for this. So wonderful success of the postal system there. From there, I started my bachelor's degree at University of Colorado at Boulder. This is not a photo of that. So I chose CU Boulder for the beautiful grass and beautiful scenery of the Adirondack Mountains. Majored in psychology, close call between psychology and photography, but eventually went to psychology. Did 1 year at CU Boulder and then quickly left internationally again for a year abroad, half of which was spent in New Zealand. This is a photo from Apple Tasman National Park in New Zealand. We had purchased a $400 car during this trip and took it on a tour around the South Island, this being one of the spots. And the car broke down after we had this tour. So it was really wonderful timing on that.
It served its purpose.
It absolutely did. The other half of this gap year, or sorry, not a gap year, I was studying. Actually, I did take some classes. It was a study abroad. You know how that works. It was pass-fail classes. But...
Doing Wikipedia.
So the other half of this very studious year was spent at City University in London, and I was able to travel around Europe on the glorious Ryanair flights for about $30 to hop around Europe. I did my final year at CU Boulder, where I started getting my feet wet in the research world. I worked at a couple infant development labs, child psychology labs, and started getting my interest in research, and was very close to applying straight into a PhD program after finishing my undergrad at CU Boulder, and at the last minute decided I needed some more international time and a gap year. Again, there's a theme of gap years every couple of years here. So my next gap year was spent teaching English in Thailand, where, as you can see from this beautiful photo of one of my students, about half of our time was spent teaching and learning, and half the time was spent doing very elaborate shows, plays and dances, and that was just kind of the culture of the school that we were at. So my role was not so much of an English teacher, but more of an entertainer and dancer and singer, and I don't really enjoy being in the spotlight, so that was very quickly not the path for me. But nevertheless, it was a wonderful experience, which allowed me to travel throughout Thailand and throughout Southeast Asia for that year. This is year 2 of this subsequent gap year. So this was before starting the PhD program that I had applied to at UC San Diego in California. I decided I needed one more break before starting higher education to do the really exact opposite of what I was about to do in this PhD program. So I spent 8 weeks in Utila in Honduras doing a scuba dive master training. And that was my reaction to, you know, not knowing I was about to be in school for a very, very long time. So I really wanted to take a good break there. So I made it to graduate school. I was in an experimental psychology PhD program at UCSD. And I, again, had made the same, not mistake, but I had chosen UCSD for the beautiful scenery on the beach, all of these things. Of course, it's also a very wonderful and acclaimed program, but I quickly learned that it was a experimental psychology program that was very based on basic science, knowledge for knowledge's sake. And I was really more interested in impact of infant health and development out in the world. And so forged my own path in the research program there, which ended up combining approaches from anthropology, psychology, and public health. And for those who are unfamiliar, experimental psychology is totally different from clinical psychology. So I did not train to become a therapist or a psychologist in that manner. It was more of the study of human behavior. And in my case, I was studying infant development and specifically parent-infant interaction from a cultural context. So how infants learn about the world through interactions with their caregivers, which of course are shaped by this broader context of culture. And that will, you know, can be a whole many hours in itself. But I was very fortunate in this program to be able to work alongside midwives and mothers and community health workers in Guatemala and Bolivia and Vanuatu, and ended up focusing on an area of infant health and development and maternal health and development, where I was looking specifically at parent-infant physical contact. As you can see from this photo, this was not a parent, this was an older sister carrying the baby. But in many human cultures around the world, keeping your baby close to you, not just for an outing, not just for a transport method, but really throughout the whole entire day and throughout the night is really the standard of care for young babies. So my work was looking at this from an anthropological perspective, public health perspective, and looking at how this type of close infant contact with caregivers shapes health and development outcomes. Okay, so as part of my experimental psychology PhD program, I was able to also take part in a program, a certificate program for anthropogeny, which is the study of human origins. I had not been specifically interested in evolution or that field of study, but I had heard there was a free trip to East Africa. And it was true, which I still to this day cannot believe how lucky that was to be on a free trip to East Africa, but it was going to the birthplace of humanity. It was studying archaeology. It was doing field work with the chimpanzees in Gombe, where Jane Goodall studied. So I was very fortunate to be able to be a part of that cohort. But more importantly, or similarly in importance, it shaped my field of study to more specifically to lactation and maternal infant health outcomes, looking at how from a perspective of human origins, we have made all of these caregiving behaviors so difficult, if not impossible. And we're just speaking on the rampant inequities we have in lactation, access to birthing, recovery, and support here in US culture. I didn't check the time, and I feel like I have a couple more here.
We love it.
This lovely image is all credit to my wonderful husband, Adam, who is a graphic designer. As you could see from this image he created for us. He was a pivotal part of my San Diego experiences. I met him in San Diego. We, for our next adventure, moved to Austin, Texas, and not only moved with this tiny trailer behind us, but brought that with us to live for 2 years off grid outside of Austin, Texas. So that was our next adventure in Austin. And what had brought us to Austin was a postdoctoral job out of UT Austin, where I was studying prenatal and postpartum rituals and traditions in northeastern India in Bihar. This is a photo of chai, the traditional street tea that is made in India, that Adam also got to experience with me on a visit there. But so I was working in Austin, Texas, out of UT Austin, and traveling to northeastern India in Bihar. I'll move to our epic engagement. Adam can get all the credit for proposing in an ice cave in Iceland for this amazing photo opportunity. But one of our most cherished photos, really funny fact is that our friend is actually standing in the back, and because Adam's so good at Photoshop, he was able to Photoshop it out for the very perfect photo you see there. So nevertheless, a really, really epic proposal. We had our COVID elopement story, as many people did. We were set to have a very large wedding in Eugene, Oregon, which is where we moved after our 2-year stint in Austin, Texas. We brought our tiny trailer with us all the way again from Austin up to Eugene. It's now here with us in our backyard. But when COVID hit, we switched to do a little elopement in the woods in Oregon in June of 2020. And from there, both of us have become quite settled and really loving our Eugene experience. And that ends with Nurturely, which is my current job and has been my passion for a very long time, but I'm very lucky to now also call it my full-time job. Nurturely is a nonprofit organization focused on equity in perinatal wellness, so pregnancy, postpartum, and infancy. And also strengthening cultures of support for infants and caregivers. We're based here locally. We work across Oregon and also nationally. And really, I was just telling Brian, this is really a response to, I was on a track to do maternal infant health, international maternal infant health on a global development track. But really what we know about birthing and postpartum care in the US is that Black and Indigenous birthing people here in the US, in one of the most well-resourced countries in the world, have similar maternal infant health outcomes, maternal mortality, infant mortality, as many of the developing nations that I was working in. So really focusing on what we can do here locally to improve maternal infant health systems. And I'm really excited to, I didn't add that last photo, but tomorrow is actually our grand opening party for our very first physical space for Nurturely. We're right on 15th and Willamette, and 6 to 8 p.m. we are doing a live music, food and drinks celebration of this year, which was Nurturely's first full year in existence, first full year that I stepped into it fully. So I'd really love to see anyone there that would like to come check out the space. But otherwise, that brings me to where I am now, which is here with you all, and I'm very happy and excited to be here. Fantastic. Dan, I'll have you come over. I feel like you shared some kind of connection with every single one of us. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to talk to Emily after any meeting, because hopefully she will be around with us for a while. And so next we'll have Dan up with a foundation update.
Well, thank you, Jessica. We have a lot of catching up to do as a club in recognizing our members that have stepped up, not only recently, but over the years, to support the work of Rotary, both locally and around the world, vis-a-vis the Rotary Foundation. And we'd like to honor one of our own this evening. I'm going to just take an extra minute to put this in a little bit of context because I was able to find some information recently about what Metropolitan Rotary has done over the years to contribute to the foundation. This club, this small but mighty club, we have around 37 active members right now. That's actually been fairly stable over recent years. But over the years, this club has donated $301,837 to the Rotary Foundation, which is just remarkable. $300,000. I won't go into the details on this, but you know, we've had 90 Paul Harris fellows over the years. And currently out of the 37 of us, 27 of us are Paul Harris fellows, which is just a stunning percentage. And the others, you know, most have contributed in lesser amounts, but just to remind you all that a Paul Harris fellow to get in the door to be a fellow is a contribution of $1,000 or more, and I'll come back to that in just a minute. So we currently have 27. We have 4 Paul Harris Society members in the club currently, which are those folks that pledge $1,000 or more a year. And we have several that are benefactors, 7 that have put the Rotary Foundation into their estates for at least a minimum of $1,000. And we have 4 club members that have pledged for future giving over $10,000, which is just, it's just stunning.
That's
We have,
just amazing. Can we just please?
yes, yes. Currently have 3 active, and we have, you know, over the years we had many, but currently we have 3 active major donors, which have already given over $10,000. And we have 12 people in the club right now that are doing what I would encourage us all to do, which is direct giving, automatic through electronic means to do your donations on a regular basis. So that's about a third of the club.
Unless you withdraw from the RFK, in which case that doesn't really work. And you should really.
That's right.
One time a year, you know.
And if you're withdrawing from your retirement accounts, you can use before tax funding to contribute. So it's non-taxable. So it's really a great opportunity for giving after you retire. So enough said. All I can say is that all those people that I haven't mentioned tonight, all those people, we have a lot of recognition to get caught up on. So over the next few weeks and months, we're going to be calling out a lot of individuals. For tonight, I want to call out specifically one of our members that has just achieved a new status of Paul Harris Fellow, and I'll give you a little hint. So this Metro Club member joined Rotary in 2011, November 1st of 2011. Within the first year, she became a Rotary Fellow. I can tell you that even prior to that, in the first year of her joining our club, she became actively involved in the Rotary Duck Race, which was the major regional event for fundraising here locally for kids. I believe that it was the duck race that actually brought her into Rotary, but you can correct me if I'm wrong in just a minute. But that's my recollection. But since then, she has continued to be extremely involved in Rotary. As of, let's see, she became eligible as a first-time Paul Harris Fellow member. When was that? That was in December of 2012. And then this October, she achieved the status of, excuse me, in April, she became a Paul Harris Society member, which she has pledged to give $1,000 annually as of last April. And then last month on October 3rd, she achieved a new status as a Paul Harris Fellow +6. And as a result of that, which is probably what drives everybody to give to the foundation. It's not really the goodness of their heart. They're out. The motivation is the jewelry. That's really what it's all about. Anyway, this is what she now is eligible to receive, and we'll find a way to carry your pigeon it to her. And my final clue to this new Paul Harris Fellow ×6 is that she is the District 5110 incoming governor-elect, our own Amy Walsh. We'll take a minute to bathe in the praise, but also, do you have anything to say?
Thank you. I do want to say that the first time I became a Paul Harris Fellow was because of the generosity of members of our club who recognized the time and other ways that I was able to give when I didn't have the financial means. And so I was recognized as a Paul Harris Fellow the first time, not for the $1,000 giving, but because of other people in the club who had earned those points. So I believe that Metro has inspired me in that way. Also, when you said the amount of money that we've raised as Mighty Metrotarians over the years, that's forgetting that we are matched at the district level. And again, that's matched at the global level. And so when I just think about the sheer amount of good that's happening in the world because of Metrotarians, I'm so proud to be a part. And a big part of why I love our club so much is how much we do locally and around the world. Thank you.
That is fantastic. All right, up next we have Happy Dollars. Sorry, we are a few minutes over. And for folks who are new, Happy Dollars are essentially you say a certain number of dollars and you make comments associated with that, and then we will bill you. So to kick us off, we'll start with Brian, because in addition to Happy Dollars, I think we have something.
Yeah, that's right. So somehow I've become the auctioneer for Metro. And Andrew has some tickets for the symphony that he's not going to use. They're for December 9th, right? And so they would be given away, but we would start the bidding at $20. So do we have $20 for tickets to the Eugene Symphony? 2 fabulous seats. $20. Do we have $30? The 9th. What's the show?
Well, that's what I'm just trying to look up. I don't remember. I should have known it.
Well, I'm sure it will be.
The symphony is really one of the wonderful assets of a very small town. The quality of the music is just amazing again for a small town. And the conductor, I mean, he's a star. I mean, he's a star. He has charisma. He has an ability to communicate. I mean, that is just, I mean, without compare. So, I mean, and what I also like about him is that he is not just doing the sort of standard repertoire of symphony orchestras, but he's also bringing in some contemporary repertoire, some, minority artists and so on. It's just, it's a pleasure to attend.
Winter Dreams. It's Winter Dreams.
Winter Dreams? Yes. Remember, one is a Tchaikovsky symphony, and which is actually called Winter Dreams. But anyway,
Do we hear $30?
I'll do $30.
Excellent. Do we hear 40? Do we hear $40?
I'll do 50.
50, 50, excellent, 50. Do we hear $60? $50 going once, going twice, 3 times. So,
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that, Brian. And now we're going to transition into happy dollars. So if you are past Scott, please, if you'd like to share any happy dollars, please come on up so that you are near the microphone so that folks can hear you. And I will get out of your way.
I will go ahead and start with $5 happy, Cheryl, hopefully high school on it. And that's because tonight happens to be our 3rd anniversary of arriving on the doorstep of Eugene, Oregon. Could not be happier.
Who's collecting happy dollars? Cheryl, awesome. And Suwana, were you raising your hand? Okay, Suwana.
10 happy dollars. Congratulations to Amy.
Yes.
And welcome to Emily. You are the true world traveler. Thank you for going to Thailand. Thank you.
Yeah, I got a couple of bucks because I'm going to be in St. Martin on the beach next Tuesday.
Can you
Oh, what
who
the
you
money
are? I can't recognize voices all the time. Dan, was that you? No.
Oh, that was Kieran.
Oh, hi, Karen. I'm so sorry. It's hard to
You
see.
haven't heard the last of me.
He's got cash. We'll take care of it.
I got cash. And it's not because I'm going to be in St. Martin on a beach. It's because Greg Vick is going to do his bio next week. And I want to see him top that one.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I'm not here for that.
I can't.
I will do 10 happy dollars. Many of you got to know Grandma Mary. She came and she's awesome. She lived to be 100 years old and 90 days. She just completed her journey on November 18th. And to reach the end and have achieved the kind of things that really matter in life with family, with commitment to Rotary, just so many things went well for her. And it warmed my heart super much. Today, my grandpa died on the 27th of December, my wedding anniversary. Grandma was there. She had come up and she had the whole house decorated. And once her husband, Grandpa Dan, died, she never wanted it to not be Christmas in her house again. So it was decked 365 with Santa Clauses and the Christmas tree. And that Christmas tree is now in her home Rotary Club in Columbus, Georgia, next to a picture of her. And it was so sweet to see. So my heart is warm for Grandma Mary and that we get to share Rotary with such good people.
She was driving until the end.
She was. Yep. One of her last stops was the beauty parlor. She did.
That'll probably be mine.
I'd like to donate 10 happy dollars. Laura and I had a wonderful trip to California and only got caught up once in terrible California traffic. So it was delightful. We went to Mexico, had wine. It was great. And also we have a wonderful group of people here tonight. You should see it. I mean, it's a huge crowd and I'm happy to see that. The presenter was great. I really enjoyed the discussion about Wikipedia, although I still don't think you should quote it in your term papers. All of you college students out there, I don't think so. But anyway, that's just my perspective. And also, Amy, congratulations. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So I have, this is Dan, I'm gonna be Dan Camera, but I'd like to submit 10 happy dollars. Thrilled, Heather, you knocked it out of the park again tonight with our guest speaker, just fascinating. And secondly, I'm just thrilled about our incoming member, Emily. That was just a wonderful bio.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Fascinating. Look forward to learning more. And particularly, I want to learn more about Adam. And finally, had a wonderful Thanksgiving, back visiting my in-laws in Wisconsin last weekend, including my 99-year-old mother-in-law, who's just going strong. And going to my first Green Bay Packers game at Lambeau Field, which was really a cross-cultural experience. Woo! Happy crowd, let me put it that way. Happy crowd.
You want to pass the mic this way?
Do I just jump in? Maybe I'll just jump in. This is Jenny. It's hard to see me, but I'm in a motel room in Southern California. We're almost down to Palm Springs, where we're going to spend a couple months down in Southern California. So we're happy about that, to get into warmer weather. It's supposed to be 85 degrees in Palm Springs tomorrow. It's going to be hard to get used to. I'm delighted to see my neighbor Maureen. I can't see her very well, but I know she's there. So it's great. Loved hearing Emily's presentation. Being a big believer in Rotary Youth Exchange, I have to believe that had a big influence in the rest of Emily's life. All that traveling and so forth, it just gets in your blood, and that's wonderful. Amy, well deserved. You've done so much for Rotary, and happy to see Suwana. It's just that's the beauty of the Zoom potential, the hybrid potential with Rotaries. That the rest of us can participate. Roberto and Ruslo, great to see you here. Looking forward to reading your next book. Have your first one and want to read the sequel. So anyway, let's just say 10 happy dollars, Cheryl.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Lisa. And one of the things that I found really exciting tonight is Emily's talk, your talk, Emily. I'm an anthropologist, and I really recognize that wanderlust. And I've been all over the world as well, all over Africa, as well as Thailand, in many places in North America as well, in Europe. And one of the important things about that wanderlust is that it sort of brings you home full circle to do good in the world. And that's what I love about this club. And I'm really grateful to be a member of this club. And we have an awesome turnout tonight. I'm really happy about that. So 10 happy dollars for me, and yay, Emily.
I'm going to add 5 more happy dollars from me because of our guests, because that was such a wonderful biography. You've had such a wonderful life and you're just getting started. It's awesome. And because of our auctioneer and the good work that Brian is doing. And because I have my dog in scent work class, and it's not the worst dog in the class. So I'm really hoping at some point he will be able to find my cell phone when it's in the same room as me. And Andrew, oh, and my last part of my happy dollars, the Oregon Mozart Players Auction is open, and I just always love, those are such a treat. So I'm happy about that too.
And Amy, you've had your hand up so patiently.
Not usually very patient, so thank you for that. I have 20 happy dollars. I have missed everybody so much. I had an amazing time at our Zone Institute and completed my governor-elect training. We had so much fun. We just stayed down there, and we were in Tucson, so we made our way over to Santa Fe, which I had never been to New Mexico, and it's one more off my list before I turn 50. I want to get to all 50 before I hit 50, and we had an amazing adventure. We drove up to the Monument Valley and stayed in a lodge that's built into one of the monuments, and woke up at sunrise to watch the sun come over, and saw where Forrest Gump ended his cross-country run. It was really important social moment. And then worked for a few days in Vegas before heading back to Palm Springs to meet our daughter. And it was an incredible road trip. And I'm really grateful to be home and back in person with people. But I wanted to say that District 5110 was really well represented, even though we weren't there in person. They started the Zone Institute with a video about all that's happened during COVID. It started with Eugene's vaccination efforts and a great video that was made by the Downtown Club. And it ended with our previous district governor, Cindy O'Neill's face, doing some of the projects she was doing. I think she was presenting a peace poll to folks at the Eugene Mission. So it was really fun to see our local area recognized across the zone for all that we've done over the COVID times. So, and I just have missed everybody. I'm glad to be home. I will see you soon. Oh, also, Emily, I'm so glad you're here. And I'm so glad that you felt like Metro person right before I met you from the start. So I'm so glad you're plugging right in.
Absolutely.
Okay, this is Andrew. Lots to be happy about from the contributions of longtime members such as Amy and others. I mean, having been the chair of the Rotary Foundation, I mean, I can certainly attest to that. Lot of people have contributed. I mean, but that's no excuse not to continue contributing. Okay, and if you haven't contributed yet, this is your chance to do it. Yes, the club from that to the quality of new members was a fabulous talk, Emily. So I can't wait for you to be a regular member here. So you're certainly you know, very, very qualified. I mean, you will fit right in with this international, you know, crew here, or crew with international experience. I certainly, the quality of the speakers, I mean, I think today was a great example of that. You know, there's lots to be happy about. And since I'm not going to be around the next two meetings, my wife and I are going to the East Coast, visiting relatives in Virginia and friends in New York. Make this $20, Cheryl.
All right.
I feel like I'm just literally basking in a bunch of happiness here. So I just love this group, and it's so wonderful to be here in your physical presence and also in the remote presence of those who are joining us online. So I'm just going to say I'm just super happy to be here and want to thank the presenter and also Emily, who I just think is just going to be an amazing addition to the club, and thank her husband for being here as well. And we'll drag you along too eventually, Adam. So, but it's just lovely to be here. So I'd like to throw in a happy dollar for everyone who's here and online. Just really grateful to be here.
And how many is that? And I'm so sorry, I don't always recognize voices.
20 people here. She said, well, one happy dollar for every person.
Okay.
And online, okay.
And the name of the donor?
Monica.
Oh, hi Cheryl, it's Monica.
Hi, okay, I can't see. You're on my phone. You're really
Dark here.
Here comes Darren.
Hi there, Darren here. Great presentation. That was awesome. I can totally relate to that wanderlust. So super cool to see other people who have that same bug. Thanks, Jessica, for the plug. Oregon Mozart Players has a fantastic auction happening right now. We have a Steamboat Colorado vacation stay. We have Seaside vacation stay. We have concert tickets to Oregon Symphony, Eugene Symphony, all sorts of wonderful Bose headphones, all kinds of stuff. So check it out if you get a chance. Great to be back in downtown Eugene at the Davis. It's just great to be back here. So it's great to see everybody, and $5 happy. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, lots of reasons to be happy. I think we're all set. So the meeting is adjourned. Oh, adjourned.
Just a I get a question.
Bye-bye.
Jessica, you want me to get this to Amy? I can drop it off her house.
Yes.
No problem. Want to go to game tomorrow night? We see Riverside. Yeah, well, we had them on 10.